been busy, as you see in the PC. I'm here in the parking lot waiting for my people, but I got so busy and I totally forgot. I'm really sorry. It wasn't an April Fool's prank. I can never prank you guys. Jackson, good evening. I don't have an MTN number. Sammy, hi. Martha, and definitely Emma reminded me. He sent me a WhatsApp, but no, this wasn't Emma. I think someone else. I've just seen this is time for the live broadcast, and I came right away. Whoever sent me that message, thank you. I've been really engaged, and I totally forgot. Let me close the PC. Sometimes but anyway, regardless, we move. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi Moses, hi Martha. Man, you know deadline is good, and I'm trying to also train myself to be a little faster as I do. Of course, I'm already fast, but I'm not the kind of fast that that normally does things. When I'm really fast, sometimes I mess things up. So I'm training myself to actually do things fast, but also the right way, and it doesn't come so easy. So good evening, Pascal Joseph. So you guys, whoever had gone off Bambi Katiinzize, it was an April Fool's prank. I realized today, because today is April Fool's, it might come to people's mind that okay, this guy was pranking us. I wasn't really pranking you. Are we taking the things now? Take a while. Because I'm doing the broadcast, I can put the boot around there, but I can put there already. Okay. Anyway, you should start using the PC for live stream. We need to upgrade your video. By the way, Moses Adams, the issue with my picture is not to do with the quality. I'm using an S20, which I'm pretty sure you already know has very good picture quality, almost what a Canon camera or Canon DSLR could give you. But the issue to do with my quality has to do with also the network. If you have poor internet connection, you have to understand that you have to understand that definitely the picture quality will go down. And also the reason why I use the phone is I program these live broadcasts during the times that I'm actually moving. It's very convenient for me. For example, the morning broadcasts are programmed for the period when I'm heading out to work. And this evening broadcast, I should actually be coming from the gym, but I had a lot of work today, and yeah, the wife also had a lot of work today, so I could not go to gym. So Moses Adams, I hope you understand my dilemma there. But also, if you had poor internet connection, I don't think it would. But I'm soon going to put something up where we can actually have the kind of image quality you want. But also that challenges me to get very good connection, and with that kind of setup, then I can also probably host people, and we have like a very nice podcast that yeah. Definitely. So this is like a replica of the podcast that you see with guys sitting around the table or something, and it's just that it's very convenient for me. I'm not going to interrupt my work schedule at any time, but yet we are also going to enjoy ourselves by sharing. Yeah. So I still have to figure out who reminded me about today's broadcast. But you know, I picked up my phone. I was doing something online to do with web design, and I was getting an SMS from a certain site, and I was going to read a text message to fill in the code, and then I saw the message of you man, it's time for a live broadcast. And whew. Yeah, but anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. So today is April Fool's Day, and I understand that some of you might have thought that I fooled you. I don't fool people. I don't like being fooled. So a certain former work colleague of mine yataddeyo kwanjula leero, and I if it's real, I don't think many people went, but we all know it's not real. He probably was doing it to see if he can get money out of a number of people. We need the same like conversational channel. I don't know if you know the, yeah, I totally know that. Yeah, I'm going to set up something like that, but of course that comes up with I already have, like, I have some of the things, but by the way, I have some of the things that I need. I just have to work out the business angle to it. You get, I want to work out the business angle to this, and because with that kind of setup, it's it will require that I actually have a physical location. Physical location equals to rent, equals to power, equals to so many modalities that you definitely would understand. But my company is setting up a studio very soon, so probably I would use that temporarily as I figure out what can work for the Love of Cars channel. But either way, I normally take things a little slow until it actually makes business sense, because it's business. So it has to make business sense for me to set up something like that. I totally understand that there are channels that do it and they don't care if they make money or not. But and I know plenty of you actually relate to what I'm saying. There are some guys that are ministers' sons, rich kids that inherited a lot of assets. Those guys can afford to set up stuff like that and not mind whether it's making money or not, as long as it's pushing their brand. But personally, I have to be very calculative before I do anything. You see, this is already costly enough. I've already told you guys I use about 1.5 GB to 2 GB depending on how long the broadcast is. But normally when I do a 1 hour broadcast, I use 1.5 GBs every day. And I'm sure there are guys that don't even buy 1.5 GB in Uganda. I know guys that so many guys, especially when guys come to Uganda. When you come to Uganda, you actually know the practice of you remove your data. You don't want your data to go just like that, right? So it has to make financial and business sense. But I'm planning it, and before I set up my own, if my company's studio gets done, basically I'll just book the hours that are free, and then probably schedule something around that time when the studio is not being used, and then we start from there, and then we see how it works out. And then we need the same like conversation. Yeah? They use Leica. I was a very, very loyal Leica user during the lockdown. I used to use Leica before they became Leica. I think they were watched. I don't even remember what they were, but before they became Leica, I was using that telecom company, and they were very good. Then the data was actually even more expensive. When they became Leica, they cut the data costs, and I think we started by buying about 20 GBs at 30K. Yeah, so it was really cheap, and then the network became bad. So I was using Airtel. Even Airtel is being even right now I can see my picture, it's dragging. I do like this and then it comes like a minute later. So I have MTN, I also have Airtel, we have UTL at the office. So UTL is faster. I'm thinking that UTL will actually do very well for the kind of thing that Moses Adams is talking about, where I can host people, and then we have, because that will require a lot of bandwidth. So I'll definitely test it out with UTL and see how that works out. UTL seems to be very fast. There is that Airtel package of 2.6 GB for 2 days, 5K, that I use in Uganda. JK, I use something called Smart Plan, and with Smart Plans they give me a 20 something GBs, and then they give me 1,000 minutes for Airtel, and then they give me 100 minutes for other networks, and then they give me a bunch of text messages. So I find that it's better because I don't. If I pay 60, I think 60 or 60,000, and then I don't buy airtime at all. You get, and then if I use text messages, which I rarely use, then I also have them. So I find that it's very effective if I get 1,000 minutes for Airtel to Airtel, about 200 minutes for other networks. So if you don't know about, I think it's called Smart Data Plan. Smart Data Plan. Yeah, so you can research it for the guys that are in Uganda to find a way how you can save, especially for people like me that you cannot do without data. So I find that if That's the one I use for Airtel. And then for MTN I have this is called what? It's called the Wakanet. I get 25 GB for 55,000 shillings. The reason I don't buy a lot of data is because sometimes I buy it and then the network slows down and then you end up not finishing your data. So I buy 25 GB on MTN, buy 20 something GB on Airtel. So with whichever network works for me, and then I pay for the office Wi-Fi as well. Yeah. So it's 3 days. I have no idea what that is. But 2.6 GB, I've tried to use those bundles where they give it 1 GB, 2 GB, 3 GB. I use that data in 1 day. And yet when I have these bundles where I have 25 GB, I can use the bundle for like 3 weeks or something. I don't know what happens. Maybe the data bundles just go faster than the ones that I buy, the 20 something GBs and all. I used to pay 100k for Airtel, and then I realized sometimes I did not use my entire bundle. Hi Charles. And then when I realized that sometimes I don't use my bundle, because you pay 100,000 for a bundle and then 1 week out of a month the data, the internet simply sucks. So I quit that. I said let me just be using the 50k, and then now I have MTN. So, and MTN seems to be much more reliable now. I don't know why, because right now I'm using the Wakanet Wi-Fi, and it's a little more reliable. So for the guys that haven't bought any internet device, I would recommend MTN. And by the way, I'm an MTN guy. I'm an Airtel guy. I've had my Airtel line since 2006 when I was in my S4. So I'm Airtel. I'm all Airtel, but then MTN beats them with the internet. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Today's April Fools. I hope no one fooled you. I'm from 1 GB to watch you, but you have started talking about that. You have bought 1 GB. Thank you very much. I know you guys also use a lot of data. That's why I never take you for granted. How much do you pay for Wi-Fi per month? Now, at the office, that's different. We have an arrangement where a bunch of people come together, and then we have that UTL poll, okay? And then each of us contributes to pay for that internet, and it's really fast. Yeah. Now here, you can buy the Wakanet, but I don't know, Martha, you would find that where you are, you can get UTL. UTL internet is fast, guys. For the guys that have homes or offices where you can get the UTL internet, my God, it's very expensive to set up. Okay, it's very expensive to set up, but in terms of speed, it's the best thing. It's the best internet you can ever get. Interesting. When I'm in Kenya, I subscribe to 500 MB and it takes me 2 days. Now here in Uganda, Moses, in Uganda, they cheat us on everything. They think about us as fools. Those guys cheat us on everything. That's why when you buy the smaller data bundle, the smaller the data bundle, the shorter it takes. So they will tell you you're buying 2 GB that will take you 2 days and it takes you 4 hours. That's what happens to me. I wonder when Starlink is coming to you. Starlink is coming to Uganda. I've seen very good reviews in Nigeria. I hope it does. When I can afford Starlink, it's what I will use. Definitely, if the issue with some of the best internet is that it's stationed. If you put it at home, it's going to stay at home. If you put it at the office, it's going to stay at the office. But well, then we have to find a way of maneuvering. So now that's why I have MTN and Airtel. When Airtel refuses, then I use MTN. When MTN refuses, I use Airtel. Yeah, that's how I've started maneuvering, because this must go on. But in terms of our podcasts that Moses has talked about, I'll find a way of using the UTL internet we have at office because it's very good. Yeah. So today is April Fools. Somehow I got too entangled in whatever I was doing. I'm writing some of the things that we have to do to make sure that what we do moves. So today is April Fools, and I'm trying to remember what I wanted to talk about, guys. So I'm trying to remember what I was planning to talk about. Unfortunately I did not write it anywhere. Yeah, Martha, at office, if you can get Uganda Telecom, and they even have the Chisowani, Now the Chiso one is much more expensive to install. Yes, thank you very much, Adams. You know, I didn't even check the title when I was coming back. Don't be fooled by your present success by Modestka. Thank you very much. So for the guys that are thinking about internet for the office, if you're planning to buy internet for the office, UTL has two types that I failed to get any at my place in Matuga. The surveyor went there and they said they were for network Uganda Telecom. So that's how I failed to get that internet at my home. I wanted it there. At the office we use UTL and it's really fast. They have two. They can give you the normal one that has poles, or they can give you the one that has Chiso one. I know autocorrect does that a lot. You send someone a message and all of a sudden you realize that you sent a different word from what you wanted to send. So they have the Chiso one, and I think that's what they call dedicated. Now the Chiso one internet is much more expensive to set up, but I think it would give you better because I think it gets the feed from the satellite. Yeah. So I happen to believe that it would. Hi Ali, how are you? So April Fool's stopped at. Hey, it stops at midday. Are you sure? Good. I'm a very honest person. I don't even know when fooling people stops. So April Fool's stops at midday. That's something that I have to learn. I've learned today. You see, every day we learn something new. Yeah, so you guys, I hope you're doing well. Like Moses has reminded me. Sometimes we have you realized, for us in the performing arts, because I'm in the performing arts, and last time when we were looking for a car with Nicholas, we were talking about how success in the performing arts industry eludes people. My car got an accident. Can you believe? So sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. What happened? What happened? What happened? And when did that happen? Sorry about that. Sorry. Thank you very much, Alan. Anti ka S20. I put money in myself. Neteka mumu simbi. Ka S20 ekifaananyi clear. The MTN network andi kukawaka neti. Nako kali clear. Yeah. Kafe eryanda mu lunaku lumu. I don't know why. Adams, no. That's bad. Should I help you?
No, let me just put everything and then you put that one.
Can it? So, but I can shift and put there. Adams. But no one can fool people. I thought that was a rule. Like people that know about April Fool's Day should already be knowing that you don't fool other people past midday. That's something I've learned. So now I can. But you guys realize that anyone can be fooled at any time, not just on April Fool's Day. Anyway, so because today is April Fool's Day, I thought of us talking about how when we get a little kind of success, we all of a sudden start believing that it's going to last forever. And then I was talking about how when we were looking for a car with Nicholas, he happened to remind me how success for us in the performing arts is short-lived. And I haven't started experiencing success, by the way. In Chadi Muyidibi, even in the performing arts. So I haven't started seeing success. But this is something that that so many people have constantly told me. That Arthur, before you get success, you need to understand one thing in the performing arts, that you are at this level right now because probably they would say, okay, now you're a loser, right? Because you don't have success. But you know how it happens in the performing arts, you start going up, you go up as you grow older, you go up as you grow older, let me shift up, and then all of a sudden you reach the peak level. And when you reach the peak level, now you start coming down. Okay, I should have done this. You go up, and then you start coming down, and that's how the performing arts are. Look at all the musicians that were once big. Maddox Sematimba. I think Maddox is the biggest example that we can have. Maddox Sematimba was once the biggest in Uganda and East Africa, I would say. And then each day I meditate about your podcasts. I redefine myself and life choices. I'm humbled, and every day I actually learn a lot from you guys. even by just saying the things I say. Sometimes sometimes you know the things with your intuition, it's there, but then you don't put it into practice because you have no one to tell you about it, to remind you. But then when you talk it over with other people, then you remind yourself, oh, okay, this is important. Anyway, so in the performing arts, then you start going down, and normally when you start going down, you don't come back up. You don't. So you will go down. You might not go down all the way down to the bottom, but you'll go down and stop at a certain point, and then at that point you will stagnate. This is something that happened to out there. For example, Vampos and Benon. They went up, and then came down and then stagnated, and then stopped at a certain level, and then they never went up ever again. And that's when that's when Vampos, I think, kind of gave himself a break, and then Benon, and then you guys excuse me, let me just assist wifey doing something here. I'm learning some tongues. Just wait 1 minute. I'm back. Anyway, I said, babe, techidi nacho mkamwakange. It's not there. Kasina chonjogedi nacho techidi very normal na ye. I'll try to work around with it. But anyway, you've seen how the performing arts work and success, and then how you go down and then stagnate. And I've given you the example of Vampos and Benon. They never went up again. The other example for the guys that are in their 30s, for example, you will definitely remember Grace Nachimeda, right? Grace Nachimeda went up, and then she stopped somewhere and then started coming down, and it stopped there and then stagnated. You get. There are so many examples we would give. Even some of the biggest, like most consistent, like Silver Chagulanyi went up, and then came down and then stagnated. You can't go up. It doesn't matter how good you are. Every artist in our industry stops at a certain level, and they literally just don't progress anymore. And you'll have to believe me that it happens in every industry. You get to a certain point and you just won't grow anymore. I'll give you an example that is very, I think everybody knows, Baria Moreva. He was vice chancellor, I think, when I was at campus. Hi Salmin, he was vice chancellor. He was big. Baria Moreva was big. And then he reached a certain point. Over what happened at MOOC, I think he resigned. He started his own university. He came down, stagnated. And I think every step he takes, every time he tries to go up, he goes a little down lower. You remember when Utamu had just started? I think Utamu would be best known for the JKs, the engineers. He went up, Makerere University, resigned, went a little down to Fogone University, started it. Now every time he tried to go up, he would actually come lower. Up, lower. You just don't progress anymore. And I think this is true to life. In everything, we love cars. I love cars. My God, I think I would not have food but have a car in the compound. That's one thing I would have. The one thing I probably would thank God for is that I have the grace to actually understand that I don't have to have the most expensive or the biggest car for me to feel at home. It's just like you guys, you don't have to have a woman with the biggest nyash for you to feel like, okay, you've made it in life. You get, like, you don't have to have the most expensive home for you to feel like, oh, I've made it in life. JK told us nyumba za fezo nazo zituzimbe sawa in 100 years from now zijja kuba obsolete. Atebo onobanga abana boto bategese 100 years from now bajja kuba bagitunda dda. Nga bwe bagiguza yagimenyawo nga ataddewo ebirala. But anyway, I remember feeling, thank you, Philly. Irene Ntale, my God. You see, Irene Ntale got to a level where she cannot go up no matter what she does. Same thing happened to Fear. She got to a point where no matter what she does, she will not go up. You get what I'm saying? It happens to everyone. You see MC Cats? MC Cats what? Started TV when what? I was in P2 and he was the youngest, biggest TV presenter. Flavia Tumusime. She started TV and radio when we were what? I mean, she started TV when we were... Nyash is a must, don't even talk about it. I know Nyash is a must, but you don't have to have the biggest. You get. Charles, which efficient engine can be swapped for Toyota Brevis? I think you could try exploring if you can put a Beams 2000. That's the engine that I think would ably take the car. But you know the problem with the Brevis is not just the engine. I think I should do a review on the Brevis. The problem with the Brevis is not just the engine. So I would actually recommend just sell that thing and buy a better car. Buy a Mark II or buy a Chesa that has a Beams 2000 or buy a Crown. Everybody has his day, but it depends on how you use your chances once you get to the opportunities. No, I actually think sometimes when you get everybody is deluded by when they are top, when they are at the top, when you're having success, we are all deluded. It doesn't matter how much I say it. I mean, we are 18 people here. 18 people are watching this broadcast. And trust me, of all the 18 people, if we were all given success at the same time, probably only 3 will remember what we are talking about right now. You guys, I think this kind of thing applies to everyone. Amama Mbabazi was big as a prime minister. You get? My God. I think this thing totally applies in like every aspect of life. Every woman has nyash, it's only the size that but then the clip films, there's those chas small nyashes that small nyash. There are nyashes that are very nyash is a must, like JK has said. Of course it doesn't have to be the biggest, but nyash is a must. How much is a good Mark II Grand? Mark II Grand in Nunji, it's only 10 million. A good one. 10 million would be good. Nayate 10 million. Tojango gama njagala UBB. It's still an old number. US series, but good. 10 million. US series, but good. So, the success. Someone has talked about Mama Mbabazi. You do realize that after Mama Mbabazi got away from being prime minister, everything he did to try to get himself up, people think, I mean, no. Everything Mama Mbabazi tried to do to put himself up, something always brought him down. You get it? The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill. But time and chance happen to them all. Yes, it does. It does, JK. That's a very good quotation. Where did you get the quote from? Which book? Oh, it's in the Bible, Ecclesiastes. You guys quote that chapter and verse and start from there. Who remembers General Kaihura? Kaihura was once loved. What has happened to Aban? First painting.
Yeah, that's first painting.
Why doesn't he want to come?
He's scared of you.
Why? What have you done to him?
I've assured you.
That you're mistreating my son.
No, I assured you, son.
I saw a Brevis UAS at 4.7 million. Is it normal? Yes, it's normal because the Brevis itself is in very bad condition. The owner of the Brevis is tired. Kakati, I tell you, realize, Alan, that the person selling that Brevis at 4.7 is a Musubuzi. That he bought it at 2.5. He's trying to recoup some money and make a profit. Which take so Brevis muzeso nywe. Jeke kunyash awajana kuogera vocabulary wa nyash. Kaihura was there. And I think the one person that had a chance of dying at the right time, probably, I don't know whether it's the right time of dying at a time when he was still popular, was Kawes. Kawes died at like the peak of his career, when everybody still liked him, when everybody thought highly of him. That's when he died. You get? So even Charles and Alan saw the same Brevis. You leave the Brevis alone, guys. Instead of buying the Brevis at 4.7, go and buy a Mark II at 7. A Mark II Musota. talk about the Nadia. Is it good for Mufuna? No, it's not good, Hassan. Nadia is not for Mufuna Ampora. You know, do you realize that Nadia had always been driven by women? And these women that always drove the Nadia were women, kind of slay queens. Olaba ngakati ba slay queen bavuga moroka chisa weno. Slay queens drive which cars? I think they drive the Subarus now, eh? Slay queens. The slay queens, these slay queens that sleep in Nadia but only have boutiques. Those ones. What cars do they drive? Prepare 10 million to make the Brevis a car. Hey, 10 million might even be small clip films. Brevis is not something to play with. When I tell you avoid Brevis, think about which other car I normally tell you to avoid. Enyongeza. Today I was coming in one day here, and then I saw people pushing Enyongeza, and I thought, Baba Gamanga, Bagule Town, yes, I was at the bake and Enyongeza Yala isi. Yeah? What happened to Brian? Brian was here even in the last broadcast, by the way. Brian was here even yesterday. Brian is here normally. IST. Now the slay queens drive the IST. I thought they drive the new model, but ask them to buy a tire for that car, and that's when you will know that slaying is not for the faint heart. A female friend whose first car was the Nadia back in 2008. Yali slay queen. I ain't about the slay queen anyway, but the Nadia was for the slay queens because first of all, most of those slay queens don't even buy their own fuel. Okay. Second of all, they don't maintain their cars. Bwefanga ajiparking out kwa apartment. I mean, most of them they sleep in apartments. Nga bwefa ajiparking out ku muzigo. Paka boyfriend oba sugar daddy bwana jana akorachi. Na ajitwala ne bajikanika. So Nadia is not for Mufuna Ampora because and besides they're going to sell you Nadia at 10 million. And it's a 5-seater. And at 10 million, there are so many other cars that you can get. It's like with drive Rumions and IST. Rumions also. Rumion nga ya beyo msajo jisa musile queen just sile queen. Bamami bonga bavuga kawo. Bamami boba bavuga kawundo. Exactly. And Alan, most of the times bamami baba zegulide obanga yaleta 60%, daddy nateka ko 40. Sina chindi ojigula yonna. Bano basile queen sometimes tebamanya na card jezi bavuga buvuzi. Until the sugar daddy decides that it's over between the two of us, he takes his car. So someone diverted us. She wasn't a slay queen. I think she was a programs director at KFM at the time. Slay queen or slay queen. One told me I pay for her rent or else she will ditch me. But I've never dated a slay queen, so I've never really been threatened by anyone. There is a meme I saw. Here is a list of all the things I want. If you can't afford them, tell me, and our relationship ends here. Ubigambani. Ubigambani. These are probably told to guys ngabagala nyongo, yagala nyo. The kind of nyash this chick has is golden. Uba is bronze. Golden. The Nadia meant fuel. It's a 2000cc. Majority of them are 4-wheel drive. Okay. And it's old technology. It's a reliable car. But also, you need to understand that right now, if you buy a Nadia, you want it. But how many people have you seen looking for a Nadia? Because we have to take it to the basics now. How many people have you seen trying to buy a Nadia? Started nunji milioni 5 mukaga, and I'm speculating it might be higher. Under which circumstances, if it gets high, just go buy a Vitz. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Just go buy a Vitz. Excuse me, just give me one second. Hey Aban, hey Nana, How are you, Ragnar?
my hand. Daddy.
What's that on your face? What's that on your face?
They painted us when we were going to the bouncing castle.
Ah, nice. You had fun?
And they painted me like Spider-Man and Nana. Nana, he had a skin on his head. Now they have painted him on the hand.
Ah, nice. You boys had fun?
Yes.
But Arthur, Mr. Letty is saying Vitz Oburunji. Vitz Old Mondo is ugly.
I want some water.
Okay. Here. But don't pour it anywhere. Be careful. Give your brother as well. Name Sota manyo tezirabika. But there are chances that you can actually find a good one, eh? Jeke wakuba nyo. Once my babe asked me what I would do if she left me, I asked her what she actually adds to me that I need to survive, and she got angry. Hey, JK, that was ruthless. That was really ruthless. Yeah. Go for Spacio rather than Nadia. Thank you very much, Adams. If you're buying old model, you'd rather buy Spacio old model. I told her not to ask questions she doesn't want right answers to. Nanga bakati bagenda ne babuuza ebibuuzo tajja bisobola. Hi Brian. Babuuza ebibuuzo nga naye tajja kusobola answer. You give her the answer and she gets a heart attack. Me, I have a weakness even when you don't ask you don't ask your question. Sometimes I just give you the answer thinking you need the answer. You need to know that. Musota versus Nadia, I'll definitely go for a Musota. Aban, you have asked me for water to play with it. I would go for Musota any day. And I definitely go for a Musota, and I don't think I need to explain. Musota is much more comfortable. It's just that it's lower. But for us young people in our ages, the Mark II will definitely give you better stability on the road than the Nadia. Yeah, definitely Jackie was right. But achali nawe bwabali nawe yategeera level ye.
And you see how me I'm holding it?
Yeah, good. Bwabali nawe yategeera level ye. Yeah, sometimes we just need to tell them bategeere. But anyway, let's go back to not being deluded by the present success that we have. We have already talked about don't allow to provide and also beg. Me, even if I don't provide, you guys are about this broadcast. You need to have a lot of esteem. Even when you don't provide, don't beg. But make sure you provide, because omusajja ata providing atateche obolichi obogasachi. You need to provide as a man. But a man is not supposed to beg. Men are hunters.
I drink a lot so I can give my brother.
Good. So, we were talking about success and not to delude you, because everyone has their peak time. But you have been together since 2014.
I don't drink.
That's nice. 2014. That's almost 10 years now. Hi, Arthur, around 2003 model njifuna. And this one category XXL channel in Uganda. Katuyagala kwaki 8 million.
80 million.
Yeah, he wants to buy a cat 8 million, and the car he wants to buy 8 million is will cost him like 13 to 14. Nego bitegera byanjogera 14 million.
14 million.
Yes, drink and finish that water. Arthur, men beg for what? Ate men beg for what? By the way, men can beg for attention. They can beg for, of course, you know what. And also they can beg for affection. You get. But ideally, if a man tries to get your affection and he doesn't get it, he'll get it elsewhere. That's why you find that some men, when they fail to get affection, they get it in the bars. Akulesewa wasiza waitress or kubala. Right? Because the waitress gave him attention, even when the attention might have not been real. Yeah. Aban, say hello to these people. Yeah. You say hello.
Hello.
Nana, you say hello to these people.
Hello, people.
So actually, he's not actually Nana. He's called Ragnar, like the Ragnar in Vikings. But his brother would not say Ragnar, so that's how.
Did you know there are two Abans?
Alban.
I said 2 urbans.
No, urban is 1 and urban is 1. So shelter, food at the start, yes.
That there's 1 urban and then there's
Urban. Yes.
I said the one which one is in year 1.
Oh, there's another urban.
Yeah.
There's another urban in this school.
Yes.
Abba.
Ah, the other one is called urban. So first of all, XXL channel tosobola kufuna Raum 2003 model ku 8 million. Bono ogifuna eyinza obanga sinnamu bulungi. Ogisobola ogifuna of course nga the engine is blown. You did not? The engine might be blown, but of course the engine will cost you like 3 million complete, I think, when they put it back. And then you might find that you have to replace almost the entire suspension system. And then you'll find the windscreen cracked. Basically, you'll buy it 8 and still insert like 5 million, 6 million. So, aguze moroke etambula kubonga namu is better. No, they had like, you called it a fun fair.
Fun day.
They had a fun day. They don't go to school on Saturday. They had a fun day. That's why you see Urban. Look here. That's why you see Urban has Spider-Man on his face. Okay, you go away now. So they just had a fun day. They were doing bouncing castles. And you know my son can swim. I can't swim. You can swim properly without these things that they put on you. Or when they put things on you.
They put phones and things
Now you have not yet learned.
I knock things.
They also put things on you.
But he can't swim in the tiny pool.
He goes to the tiny pool.
No, when he doesn't know how to swim.
Arthur, what do you think would be the basic things a man should provide? Thank you very much for that, Moses. And a clip for men don't beg for nyash. Actually, when you think about it, in the end, nyash is very useless. What do you use it? If you don't laugh for things you don't understand. He's laughing about. In the end, that thing is not as useful as we think. Because afterwards you think at him bad day and much. But anyway, shelter and food are for the start. Thank you very much, JK. Moses, JK has started and telling us you start with shelter and food, where you get a place to stay, you eat, and I think I can't JK and do that. It's normal. Most Ugandans can't swim. Most Ugandans can't swim, not just me. Era this generation bibagendo banga bamanyi okuwuga naye ffe kati I would go and learn how to swim, but you can imagine me at my age being taught by another man to swim. Kale above with if you taught by a woman to swim, but I can consider it if it's a woman teaching me how to swim.
I saw a coach swimming in the pool.
The coach?
Yes.
He was swimming good. Is your coach woman or man?
A man.
Yeah. So, Arthur, by the way, Moses, I'm still on your question as well. I think JK is very right. Find a place to stay, buy food, enough food. That's why when Aban, I'm trying to do something here. That's why when I started renting, I made sure I had a lot of kaunga, I had a lot of bread. So even when I was broke, that was in my VAC, S6 VAC. Even when I was broke, I had porridge and I had bread. I had porridge and I had bread. So I always made sure I had a kilo of sugar, I had flour, I had bread. There was those long breads, you remember. So I had a place to stay, I had food. It wasn't necessarily the food I would choose, but I had food. And then I think after a man has taken care of those things, a man should take care about the hygiene and how they look. Take care about how you dress, how you smell, and how you look. Okay? And then you think about your clothes, your salon, and perfume and all those things. Because you have a place to stay, you have food, then take care about how you look, okay? The outlook. And then afterwards, you can start taking care of the other things that you probably would need. No. Movies, and having woofers in the house, having a fridge. Some people start with those things before even paying rent. Omusajja ngabambanja rent wa mwezi gumnaleta 42 inch or 45 inch. I don't know what that is. I've never bought a TV that big. The biggest TV I bought was 32-inch because I don't see the use of the other big one. You get it? We're still there. Arafat saying the judge is for sitting, soft sitting. Arthur, if a girl doesn't give her boyfriend attention, he starts asking slay queens. Na yenze, I just ask you ani yakwana munne. Antika kati Martha, one thing you need to understand that as men, we grow up, we rarely got attention from anyone. So when I get someone that I have that strong feeling for, I basically give you attention, you give me attention back. That's how it works. Because if you don't give me attention, I'll get it anywhere elsewhere. That's why you find that if a man doesn't get enough attention at home, then he'll resort to the bottom and all. Yeah. Arthur Vakunyash Ragna is talkative. Ragna likes to even sing. Ragna, do you like to sing?
Yes.
Sing for me. Ragna even likes to sing. I gave a friend my Spacio and he drove it from Uganda to Kampala without water coolant in the radiator, but the engine survived. It did not blow. I now love this car like nothing. Hey, now Ojagananga Corolla Kangara. I see Mark Musota at 4 million. Yeteba Musota. Kadeba Musota, but that one has the other engine. It doesn't have beams. It's impossible to find a Mark II with the beams having that beams 2000 engine. After talk about Mark II Musota spare parts, very available. New model 1.8. Yes, Muzafaru, they have bad engine. The good ones have beams 2000 DVTI. Yes, and I think they start. Thank you very much, Clip. 32-inch would feel like watching from laptop, especially if you are seated far from it. But JK, I even rarely watch TV, so I don't think I would get the urge to actually think, okay, now this is small, because TV is for these kids, and they have to get used to watching those small things, because otherwise, Arthur, can one access those police lead cars, Corollas, after they have been? Yes, they do. They I think you just have to be in the know of when they auction. You just have to get someone over where, because they are normally good car Muzafaru. That's one thing I drove it in 2020. Ragnar is a Viking god. Omwana wa Muri and Norwegian mythical gods. Yes, I gave both my kids Norwegian names. This one is called Rolf. I named him after a very good friend of mine who is called Rolf. And then the other one is called Ragnar, because I was looking for a name and then I had a bunch of names, and then there was this Norwegian name called Olav. And then Olav is a good name because Olav is also, it sounds nice, but then I thought it didn't sound so manly, and I wanted to find a name that's manly. That's how I fell upon Ragnar. And then I remember watching Vikings and how manly this king was, and I thought, okay, why don't I raise these boys to be so these I named these boys up after personalities I admire. Abana Beba Chisenyi. Yes, Beba Chisenyi. What's your name, Aban? Amanyine erinya lye chika. Oli musajja Muganda? Basajja. Your turn. Chisenyi. Ana Beba Chisenyi. Yeah, anyway guys, let's go back to our topic, because I'm soon going to join the road, and then we start seeing the roads. I bought my girlfriend a 55-inch, but wherever I come home it feels so small I can't see because of the sun. Let me join the road. Okay, I'm used to a bigger screen, but when do I even watch TV to know which screen is big, which screen is small? So in Uganda, what I'm doing about TV, or for half of my friends that bought 32 inches when I still had my Chibuto TV are broker than me. Watching TV in Uganda when you're a man is not a very good thing for men. There's a time I had my Chibuto TV car. I still have it at home, but some of my friends were having 42-inch TVs, and right now some of them are really broke. I think they were at the peak of their success, like we are saying. So when you are at the peak, I think I'm used to working on different screens, but I can feel every size. So let's look at the road now. Anyway, guys, so take a look at SC. You guys may get cold.
It's fine.
This go. So when you're at the peak of your success, when everything is working out, and this normally happens for guys that have been employed for some time in your late 20s and early 30s, this is normally when the success starts to actually happen. When for the guys that have been working for a very long time, at this time you actually have raised enough to buy yourself a new car from the bond. You have raised enough money to start to buy a first plot and probably start even constructing. You get and then I'm telling you, JK, I don't know which one wakanya, but if you TV, I'm telling you, where do you get the time to watch TV? Kati me, I have kids. How are you going to watch TV when your kids are looking at you? Your kids are supposed to be watching the TV, not you. You're supposed to be thinking about keeping a roof over their head. JK, I think majority of the men actually watch TV when there is football. During European League, that's probably the biggest time they watch the TV. The first thing I bought when going to campus back in 2003 was a 21-inch TV and a home theater. My room always was filled with babes in the evening. Guys would beg me to let them come in my room. Atenze, when I was joining campus, it was maybe inch me all I cared about. I think I've always been this basic. Like, I'm not the kind of person that has at any one time cared about what size of TV I have. I can get excited and all, but then I sit back and I say, at the end of the day, I would normally just care about by the way, but roundabouts of Northern Bypass. So I never really cared about inches of TV as long as I could see the film, I follow, probably see the news and follow. I think as I grow, then I'll start caring about these things. But I've never really been the kind of person. Yeah, I'll definitely buy the kids their own TV, just the way I gave them their own room. And soccer is always at night. Nga hustle a wet day. Nayegairira ku campus. I love watching political shows. JK, katugo wayagala ku campus ula 32 inch yo. Nze nali ku campus nga kyenyina ekyobugagga motoka yange UFB 155J Chibina manual. The other car gave me peace. Mulengera abantu baffe bwe bayiga apakinze ku ludda olw'emmotoka endala ali mu kugula bikajjo na ffene. Bebo be bantu baffe. Kati oyo apakinga bwato tosobola tayinza kuba na bwongo obuvuga mmotoka eyo bulungi ku Northern Bypass. Omuntu apakinga ku ludda olutali mu kkubo wakati tazzeeko na bbali agule ffene. Kati oyo naye agenda vuma bbaawo obusiru ate n'abadde mukazi ajja vuma abaana b'obusiru. But anyway, guys, let's not be deluded at the current success. Everybody's going to have their time. Of course, there are people that will never have their time. That's something that God kept to himself. Some people, JK wali munene. There are some people that will have their time. And that's something that probably we need to understand. And understand it, because for us, everyone will basically understanding having their time differently. For some people, having your time will probably be making 10 million a month. For other people, it would be making 600 billion a year. For other people, it would be being able to buy that Pajero that has just overtaken me. It will be different for all of us. But whenever you have your time, your time to shine when things are good. You see the sky looks really nice. When you have your time to enjoy life, to make money, to buy everything that you can buy, everything you've ever wanted to buy, you need to remember that time is going to come for you to go to be stagnant, for your progress to not be progress. I don't know how to define it. For you to literally move in a straight line. You keep growing old, but your level of income is not growing. Some such things can cause accidents. And I'll want to remind you guys that the speed limit on the northern bypass is 70 kilometers per hour, especially for guys that have just bought their first. Some of these things you guys never learn. With our generation that learns how to drive cars at home, some of these things are never taught to you. So I'll take the chance to remind you that when you're driving on the northern bypass, the speed limit is actually 70 kilometers. I know your car can probably go faster than that, but you shouldn't. We'll take it. No, don't regret, JK. Stop even saying that. Me, I don't regret. I don't think I regret anything that I've done. It has been like a learning process. It has been everything that went wrong was for me to learn from. And because I went through the things I went through, because I wasted what I wasted, because I spoiled what I spoiled, because I messed up where I messed up, I am where I am. And I don't think I'm in a very bad position looking where I came from. So I don't regret, and I don't think anyone should be what they did. As long as you learn from that experience, you should be happy. So your success, when you're having that peak, you may not have a second chance the way JK got, because right now you should not be thinking that probably it's going to be forever. There's a person I was talking to. We were looking for a car, and this person was telling me about his brother who was in URA. You know those guys that work at URA, they make a lot of money in corruption things, bribes. So he was telling me how his brother would make like 2 million, 4 million. He just gives them the money. But when he lost the job at URA, it was definitely someone from this channel that came for me to help them select a car. And I can tell you that he said this brother of theirs regretted ever. He regretted ever spoiling the money. He actually felt bad. But by the time he remembered this was when he was actually out of a job and literally ngabalo savings kati nazo stand sokenderera ddala. Good evening, Adrian. I would rent a roller coaster and take guys to Ginger for the weekend at my cost. Wait, wali mu sente JK man. At campus, I can't even tell you I remember anything. At campus, anything to do with money. I wasn't making money. I was trying to make money. But I think we can learn from JK's experience. I linked up with a certain guy called Ibra who used to bring me lots of phones from UK, and I would buy many from him and sell them at a profit. I was a cashier at Club Silk and also always had hundreds of comps every club night. I used the money I got to deal in Nokia phones from the UK. Wali sharp nnyo. Abaje bagenderanga mu kirabo okuzina gwagendangayo okukola sente. Those days even the phone I held would make girls come running. Good evening, firstborn. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Me, I personally think that everything you went through when you were young actually shapes you for your adult life. It shapes you for success. Yeah, they added traffic lights and it's a very good experience, especially when they are working. Right now they are not working. I think they have done that intentionally because there is no traffic. I think these traffic lights, they sense when there is traffic and then they start working. But apparently the traffic officers still come and disorganize them. You get. And those days Nokia JK was the thing. So I think we can learn from JK's experience to not be deluded by the success that we have. You can find that right now you have the success, but what happens if that success goes away? If you're one of those rich kids, no problem, no worries. You don't have to worry about that. But if you're someone that actually has struggled, like the way Arthur has struggled to come from the bottom, I came from the bottom. I don't want to go back to the bottom. No. So I have to be very careful about how I spend, what I spend on, and all that. Which again, for the guys that drive in Kampala, do you see the kind of distance I'm giving this car? I can see the bumper. Yes. The life I loved is the reason I'm not easily impressed right now. Live a life very chill, a very chill life. Yeah, it's. I think when someone sees money at a young age, because people, they have seen money. I think I've realized that a lot. That's why I bought the other ones. But those ones are not nice. I don't like them. If you had two that looked at like the buses, I would take. I don't even want to give these boys the impression. Bumper. So the life, you are a professional. I love the way you dodge borders. I don't even dodge them. I think it naturally. My babe's friends wonder what kind of holiday maker I am because I hardly go out happening places, going for live band music. Being a teetotaler helps too. I neither drink nor smoke. Yeah, I think if a teetotaler, if a man can avoid drinking, I think it's one of the best things to do. It's one of the best things to be teetotaler. For those that don't know teetotaler, a teetotaler is a person that doesn't drink. Me, I'm also a teetotaler. Are you a teetotaler? You're not. You're Ugandan. Yeah. Abana said he's not a teetotaler, he's a Ugandan.
Daddy.
Yeah. No, you're not. You're a Muganda. You're Ugandan and a Muganda. Say that.
And I'm Uganda and I'm Uganda.
Uganda and Muganda. So anyway, guys, success should not delude you. And I think it's nice. It's been a long time since we had this evening broadcast when I'm moving. For you guys, Abatari Kampala want to see this how beautiful this place actually looks. Especially the things that are naturally made, not the things that we have made. Because some of the things that we have made actually fade, but the things that are naturally made don't fade. Yeah. So the success should not delude you. I'll give you an example. You go and buy a car at 40 million because all of a sudden you started making like 150 million a year. And then what happens when your income goes back to 20 million? And then with 20 million, you probably can't even afford to maintain the car you bought at 40 million. Most of my friends fear Mark Musota that it's not fuel efficient. Arthur, talk about it. I drove it in 2020. Of course, 2019, 2020. Someone will say Wajivuga wa, but I drove it. I would drive 10k from Kasangati to town and back to Kasangati. So that's teetotaler. Teetotaler. He's teaching me how to pronounce the word teetotaler.
Mama, tell him.
JK, for us when we are teaching us how to pronounce things in school, even the teacher that taught us English was pronouncing is a titotola. Kati gwe uyote titotola. Ebyo byammwe mu abazungu. Kale mwino olugezigezi lw'oluzungu. Me, I'm a Ugandan, like urban. I'm not a titotola. Mr. Sereko, I'm okay. How are you today? Do you see how beautiful our country is, especially up there? And you know, Uganda is really beautiful after like a couple of days of rain, and then you get some sunshine. But of course, of course, I'm not putting S in normally, but I put S when I'm doing this evening broadcast because Samsung phones actually overheat, and I don't want this phone to overheat. By the way, thanks for showing us some parts of the city, because some of us were in the village. Sometimes we need to look at it and remember how our people behave on the road. The border guys, I think that's they are the biggest disgrace. The confusion in Kampala City. Someone was saying that the driving in Uganda should be added a class when they're like awarding international driving permits. You should actually say in yes? Yeah. But anyway, you guys, the conversation is very, very interesting that from time to time I get away from my topic. Don't be fooled by your success right now. Okay? We all get to that point when we are at the top of our game. Okay? And we have talked about notable names. We talked about the one person that died at the right time. I'm not saying that it was the right time for him to die, but he died without going down. He died when he was at the top. He was the deputy IGP Kawesa. When he died, people cried for him. People actually still post whenever the anniversary of his death comes. People post videos of him doing nice stuff and all. That's the only person that died. Got a good day. The rest of the probably even Mose Radio and Kawesa and Fidel Lutaya. What other person died at the peak of their careers? I don't remember anyone. All these ministers that die, they die. Majority of the time they die when the population is disgusted of them because of what they did, or they die when they are broke because they fell out of favor with whoever gave them the job, and they die poor, or they die at Mulago Hospital. And I think the worst thing that you want, the one thing you don't want to do if you're working in government is to actually die at Mulago Hospital, because you become an example. Whenever they are saying, isabulunja abantu, what do you government, then they remind you, and you don't want to be in that position. Yeah. So anyway, success should not delude you to buy an expensive car when you have not calculated if you can afford another one. I normally tell you, I have a friend of mine. He's quite popular. He's quite known in the showbiz world. But he normally says, the speakers, the motivational speakers, that normally tell people, only buy a car you can afford 2 times are lying. But I seem to agree with the people that have that school of thought, that you should only buy a car if you can afford to buy it 2 times. Why? Because should you lose that car either to an accident, to a robbery, or to a carjacking and all, you can actually buy that car again. I can tell you that personally, I can buy my car again. I'm comfortable. But ask yourself, especially you guys that have not yet bought cars, if you lost that car, would you buy it again? Would you? Would you buy it again? Okay. I personally believe in that school of thought, because if you apply that school of thought, you will not buy a car that you can't actually afford. Because a car that you can buy 2 times, you can actually afford to maintain and keep on the road. You can actually afford to fuel it. And you realize that, I can't buy 2 of these. Okay, let's give ourselves space. Can you buy 2 of those within a space of one year? Within a space of 12 months? If you can't afford to buy that car 2 times within a space of 12 months, JDK. If you're going to buy that car on debt, JDK, don't be fooled, because today is April Fool's Day. And you know April Fool's Day is temporary. Anything that will fool you is going to be very temporary. So you definitely need to think about it. And by the way, if you're driving in Kampala, I think the one skill that you need to get is the skill of driving with your side mirrors. The side mirrors are very important. Omulabye, he had an appointment with me that at that time I would stop for him to cross. Mukama Katonda yakola abaana ba boda okulwa mu kkubo lw'emulago. So of course you need to learn how to use side mirrors. Taxi drivers and border guys are literally the same people. They can almost come from any direction. Yeah, the sky looks really nice, and in the camera it really looks nice. Yeah. So, but anyway, regardless, we move. Don't be fooled. Like I keep saying that thing because being a fool is kind of like the worst abuse anyone can ever get. Little Mama Aban should say hi to us. Say hi. Just say hi from there.
Hi guys, hello.
Agambia hi. Sometimes I miss the confusion on Kampala streets. If you can drive in Kampala, you can drive anywhere, definitely. Haman Basud died at the top of his career, by the way. Kafero was going down when he died. Others died too young, and the other ones on the verge of breakthrough, like Sarah. Yeah, Sarah. Kefa was too promising, man. I think Kefa was coming up when I was around senior 2. Narimu senior 2 when Kefa was coming up, and then he died. Zenakugambye oli senior driver. Munange, there is a time a traffic officer stopped me. Navuga bubi nanyimiriza okunkuba ekipapula. Ngamba afande, don't give me a receipt. Please teach me how to drive. And he said, how can I teach a senior driver how to drive? And that was like 4 years ago. But now, Bogamba senior driver, I totally understand. Kaundo from UBH, I would actually tell you, JK, to prepare like 35 million. I don't want to be so sure because I've not helped anyone buy Kaundo, but I will tell you to prepare about 35 million and above. Okay, of course, depending on the condition, depending on who is selling, depending on how many they are in the market and all that. Engage. Tebalaga bolaga mukyala wo otandika okunoonya competition ejja mulaga abantu nga bamumanyi bagende bamuseketerere ebigambo bamugambe eri live ya Lito wagiraba asa yakonnomolawo ogugambo boo olumu probably I say things that you would not like obugagwe tewalaba live eno mundeka. Let me keep that part private. Abaniye kamumalage ne Ragna aba abaana bange bo mubalabe mulebe bayitangako mu kkubo. Yeah. Ragna ne Aban mubalaba olawula photocopy yange. Yeah. Anyway, guys, don't be deluded, don't be fooled by your success right now. And like someone said, I think it was about Moses, everybody has their time. Everybody has their time to get success. And JK said that it depends on how you use your time. It depends on how you use your time. And because you can get success and then you misuse it, or you can get success and use it properly. So when you use your success properly, then your fall will not be so steep. It will not be so fast. And when you reach the tip, and of course some people they're just trying to keep up appearances to those empty bakka. There are some people that are sharp. You see how JK is saying he keeps a low profile because he saw it all. When he was flashy at campus, they're saying JK agonda obulamu bwamunyiga naye yamanyi what took him to the point where he is. Mark X Zio is the Mark X, but in the estate version. I don't know what's so special about, but I think probably because it has more space. Then that's the Mark X. The Mark X Zio, then the Mark X. Of course, the Zio is like the Mark X old model, the first generation. Yeah, I find that it's mostly women that drive the Mark X Zio. I've not seen a man that drives that car. I think the first person that I saw driving the Mark X Zio is the owner of Chengo Auto Glass. The other one is in Rubaga Road. So when you have success, guys, when things are going right for you, be humble for your own self, not for any other person. Don't be humble for your village mates. Don't be humble for your work mates. Don't be humble for your girlfriend or wife or husband or kids, be humble for you, knowing that when things go rough, you will be alone. Ojakuba weka when things are rough. Okay? When things are rough, normally we are alone. When things are going well, we have a lot of people around us. When you have a lot of money, you have a lot of friends. Friends and family love you so much. Bakubira kasimu. Ukugambia, the day things start going wrong, you will think you never had any friends. And that's how it happens. You realize that, I think that the very good example that I'm sure you guys have seen is this guy who, producer Didi. Producer Didi, when I was at campus first year, I think 2000, before my first year, producer Didi did most of those hit songs for Coco Finger. Then I think he produced for Gift of Kadu, and he produced for Eddie Kenzo, some of the hits that came out first. But if you see the condition that producer Didi is in right now, I wish he knew at the time when he was at the peak that this time would come. That a time would come when he has nothing. You know, he kept saying, I think I saw an interview where he kept saying that police came and took his equipment, he took his bank cards. We all know that it's very rare for someone to take a card and use it. And he was officers of ours and take all your money. They'll basically take the Visa card and throw it somewhere. So you'll find your money intact in their account. But I'm imagining he used most of his money to try and get himself out of prison. If you don't know what happened to producer Didi, I think he produced the wrong song. There was this chick, she called herself Panado. She called herself Panado. And she used to sing vulgar music. You guys, if you don't know Panado, you can search on Google right now and see her songs. Those songs were not very, they did not make people very happy. I think that was the time when Father Lokodo, God rest him where he deserves, was still Minister of Ethics. And Father Lokodo, I think, got Panado and then producer Didi arrested. And then producer Didi, when he came out of prison, he was never the same again. Of course, at the time when he went to prison, he was still struggling. I think he was on the downhill, Gambia. You get to the peak and then you start going down. So producer Didi was at the time when he was going down, okay? And then that's the time when he got locked up and then he was going under. That's why I say that when you go up to the top and then start going down, after starting to go down, everything you do to try to get up pushes you a little more down, lower. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You've not done anything wrong, but that's just how life works. And yeah. So, but when you're at the peak, don't be deluded to think that you'll always be there. We've seen the example that I have is of musicians, for example, in our industry and artists, film actors that got to the peak of their life and they were driving El Grand, they were driving Regias, they were driving Kawundo, you get, and they could not, literally they could not afford it because umuntu with an income that is less than 2 million a month, I don't think you should be having Kawundo, because even 2 million should not put you into owning a Kawundo. But a person that gets Panado Abasajja, yes, Pasco. But now there's no comment and that's when I get into a place like Kajam Kawane Kawanda, then I'm going to read. I can't read when I'm driving. So you don't want to be deluded. Kajam Kurom Kaga Kakwata for the guys that drive Bombo Road. Normally actually on Saturday I use the Chitezi route, but today Katani Kabutani is song in the Kaitam. Urusozi Murulengeda. Yeah, today the weather is giving us a very clear view. So you don't want to be deluded. You're still renting a house of like 250 and you're buying a Mercedes Benz for what? You get 2 million, and now actually even 2 million is not enough. But you find someone earning 600 a month. Ngavuga kawundo. Ngajivuga mu once a month. Nenga ina kawundo. Nenga mamanyo mugaga wa kawundo jali. Like a friend of mine one time called me, I got to go golf. Twaro golf eri wano ya rais. Bali nya njisemu sento mpura yo. I told him okura sijja kura na ene bobo funya kuoda tojigura. You get it? Causing other responsibilities. And it's very rare to find a Ugandan without responsibilities. Most Ugandans, if they don't have a family to look after like Arthur, they definitely have extended family that is looking after them to look after them, to send them some kind of help. And that's and by the way, if you want to get out of this cycle of the African black tax, katife generation yafe tulino zara abana betusobola, because most of the time if you find families where the younger generation is looking after the old people, it's because the old people did not prepare, because they were also looking after their kids and their parents. So newesanga ng'omuntu obudde bwe yali maze okusobola to save, okusobola to look after themselves, okusobola okugula assets, tasobola because alina demands nyingi. Okitegeera, people don't buy life insurance, and newesanga ng'omuntu bw'alwala family yonna agikaliza, okitegeera, and all that. And speaking of which, if you get at the peak of your life where you have a lot of disposable income, insurance would be one of the things that you would actually think about, like life insurance. You'd think about that. If you get to the point where you have a lot of disposable income, buy medical insurance for your family. You get, instead of buying expensive cars, because you buy a car 35 million this month, and next month, if you need quick cash, people will be buying it 20 million, 18 million. So it's important that we don't forget all those things. Let me just first, I'm going to try and read these comments. Borders are many like Nzenene, yes. Mchara wange muleke njagala abeereyo mu Kamoli. Mwesonyiwe. Munamulaba ne mumpe ebigambo ne mugamba oyo yali ex wa Salumini, oyo yali ex mutandiko nchantandiko okukyaka newaka. Mundeke. I'm not even friends with my woman on social media. I refused. Checho jeke. When you're in a relationship, your relationship is supposed to be private, out of wait. Oleta relationship to social media. Teto chizibu kuwangara mwaka. At first we were friends and she started asking me questions about every female that liked any of my photos, and even those I was friends with before I met her. Hatonwa chisusa. Producer Didi had become a public nuisance at the time of his arrest. I was one of the guys who was really happy with the decision to punish him. Nanti mwamuziza wansi jeke mwabasa nyukira. Causing atolina Arthur, thanks. I watched the review you did with changing tires. Now I will never make a mistake. Changing tires, I don't even remember that one. Before I got rid of the Harrier, I drove back in 2018. I used to spend 300,000 per week on fuel. A person that is driving a Kawundo right now, I'm sure they are spending about 700 to 800 on fuel a week. A Kawundo. And if someone is here and Gavuga Kawundo, you can correct me on Ngambe Atholimba. But I can tell you, looking at my own fuel consumption, omuntu avuga Kawundo ali mitwalo nkaaga ku kinana a week. It doesn't, if there is nobody driving Kawundo, nobody driving Alphard. All those guys that were driving them, they packed them and they got some smaller cars, or they sold them and downgraded. That's just the funny thing about life. If you wait for trouble to trouble you, it troubles you. That was before fuel hikes, yet I was always around Kampala. Yes, right now a person that drives Kawundo, and trust me, I've told you time and again, people that are suffering don't want to suffer alone. A person suffering with the Kawundo will not tell you that they are suffering, so they will tell you to buy it and you suffer together. I told you about some family people that I trusted when I was constructing my house in Matuga. Not that I did not know, but they were older than me, so I thought they had more knowledge. And I continually asked them, the money I have, Zintusa Wenjagara. They kept telling me the money could get me there. They knew it couldn't. So at a certain point, I realized it couldn't, and I told them, let's take this angle. And then I was successful. And then later I asked this person, but you knew my money could not take me, because this person was a builder. He would know. Why did you continue? Nangamba, nalinjagala tisi sento zilike musinji. Oleme kuzonona. And I was asking myself, at my age you hadn't built what I have already built. How do you think that you can understand for me? Nti sente zange nkwate sente zange nyingi nzileke musinji. Ngate zina jisoro kunzimbira ne nyingira. You get it? So you actually need to be very careful. Some people will laugh with you, smile with you, pretend that they want the best for you. Nenga balimba. You can imagine someone telling you, at least the center zileke musinji. But my goal is not to leave the money in musinji. My goal is to finish something that I can live in, something that is livable. And man, whenever I remember that statement, so don't be duped at you. Me, I've not gotten to my peak of success, by the way. When I get to my peak of success, I'm ready, I'm equipped. And I'm telling you also, when I get to my peak of success, always remember me to not spoil money. I may get to my peak of success, instead of investing for my kids and I start buying the Toyota Crown at 70 million. I'm reminding you guys, right now, the Toyota Crown is on the top of my head. But if I get to the peak of my success and I become a celebrity, because for us in the performing arts and marketing, actually performing arts and marketing, the best marketers are popular. The best performing artists are popular. That's just how it works. The best marketers in the marketing industry, marketing. The same thing happens in the other industry where I am. So when tokanga kupika or sal meaning, you see I'm very popular. Mpelezaka message newe nabasicha yogera nawe ngambe Uncle Arthur kakana ojiro vuga korora yo. Please always remind me. And if you also want me to remind you, nawe ngamba Arthur unzijukizanga okitegeera. Is it possible to get Toyota Ranex Alex 17 million UB series? It's possible, but it will be lucky. It will be lucky. Like one of my followers here was telling me, the sister was selling to him Mark X UB what? Over UBD at 10 million. My God, I almost told him. But of course, I'm thinking the sister was selling this to the brother. She could not give it to anyone else at 10 million. And it was in good condition because he was driving it. So you can get it. And I'm sure you can. It would be like a lucky catch. You know how luck comes. But in like an hour, it will be all to Maganjo. So the guys that are traveling to probably Bombo Road, you should speed up and go before the jam actually comes and catches up with you. You see how the sky looks really nice? You see how the sky looks really nice? Kakati, I think I can even put off my AC because do you guys want your windows open? Okay. So ka AC nkajemo because akavuyo mukalaba oli talina gyalaga no yagala kujja wano kwegamba Ugandans don't have control. Mathematics akyatutawanya nnyo nga Uganda. And I actually pray to God that don't be duped by your success, guys. At any point, you find someone, he was driving a Vitz, and when they raise his or her salary, Subaru XT, Subaru SUV. Someone has been driving a Corolla like me, he gets some command immediately now again and Alphard. Now they are not even thinking about, can I really afford the fuel in the long run? Will I be able to? I don't like the dust that goes into the AC vents. That's why I always want the windows up. It's okay. For us, we are Ugandan. We are used to some things. My friend uses 100,000 a week, but he only drives from Mutungo to Mulago and back. At 400,000. Duka. Kati nze sizikozesa nazikozesa nga ate I drive 80 kilometers sizikozesa 400k. Olaba n'amafuta we gaali nyina wali saakozesa nga 400k. Bana Corolla mugireke. Saka damu na jinye gakubulira nchirowoozaako bwenti. Leave the Corolla alone. I did not even drive 400k when fuel was very expensive. Bana ka S20 ko mukalaba ekifaananyi. Ka S20 mukalaba. Kati njagala gula ka S22 ndowooza. I'm going to put money in myself. Like guys drive supercars in Uganda, I always see them covered in parking. Yeah, because those supercars, Edwin, they are not easy. First of all, they drink fuel like they were sent to drink. Secondly, the spares alone will cost you an arm and a leg. For the guys that don't know, I spent time in Ngambere Matugana Nanga. I didn't know what this place was called. This place is called Watindo. I also don't know why they call it Watindo, but this place is called Watindo. Please always remind me that when live broadcast, people, I'm planning to buy a crown tomorrow. ask me if I can afford it 2 times. Because if I can't afford it 2 times, I should not be buying it. And that's the principle that I've tried to live by all my life. Apart from business cars, like I bought the Vitz at 10 million. For me, the Vitz was strictly for Uber. That's why I bought it. It doesn't make any more sense. I sold it because it wasn't making business sense for me to drive a car that is worth 10 million. My business is still struggling, and I did that. The only trouble that happened, I sold the car and invested in a business at the wrong time. Because I invested in a business that was starting at the time when President Museveni announced the first lockdown. And I kept thinking he's going to open. He did not open. I kept thinking he's going to open. He did not open. And we had the lockdown the entire year. And that's how my company died. But regardless, we move. Regardless, we move. We keep moving. Because that's life. Subaru Eoma. But I happen to not believe that Subaru Eoma. I've not sat in a comfortable Subaru. Obanga to the bench. That's what I've always felt. I've never driven Subaru. I don't know what I've sat in one as a passenger, and I happen to believe that cars should be much more comfortable for passengers. You see my Corolla, it's much more comfortable for passengers. I've experienced it. When I'm seated in it and I'm not driving, it's comfortable. I don't feel comfortable on the other hand when I'm the one driving, because I think I'm too sensitive to the potholes, I'm sensitive to the sounds and all. So the Subaru, if it wasn't comfortable for me as a passenger, I doubt it's comfortable for the driver. Subaru XT, I think the Subaru XT must be much more comfortable because it's even an SUV. It was basically created for comfort. Yeah, they are fast and fun, but they are not comfortable, according to my experience. And anybody probably someone that has a comfortable Subaru should invite me for a drive. And then I understand how comfortable those cars can be. Yeah, but anyway, kati kukundi tuvuddewo kati wanoba wetaka wanda chiri Nyabigo. But we are leaving Kawanda right now, entering Matuga. So for anyone that thinks Matuga is far, Matuga kumpi jamu ya fura we wala. In the morning I brought on one of my neighbors, and there was no jam in the morning, and she said nikali wafe siwala jam ya fura we wala. And I told her, not just jam, even the roads, because our roads are not nice. That's one thing we need to understand. Our roads are not nice, and because our roads are not nice, the potholes in Semuto road, the potholes, driving through the potholes alone can give you a headache. That's one reason why I passed Chigogwa, because Chigogwa is also Maram, but at least it's much more comfortable. The potholes are not as many as these ones. You get? I'm not a fast driver, so that would not be a selling point to me. I think majority of Ugandans are comfortable. They like comfort. That's why they mind how the interior looks and all. Which take it. But me, I mind. I think I mind much about reliability. I want to have a car that will not die on me, especially now the fact that I live 35 kilometers away from town. I really want to make sure that I want to make sure that the car will not die on me. Kati olabe Alpha de tuli maso ava kunywa mafuta ga rais oba wavudde sitegedde ndabinga ava ku mafuta, but God forgive me when mama wise nebo ava kunywa ago mafuta agezaako kusavinga. But I'll tell you guys, amafuta ga rais mugaveko munye Shell na Total. Mafuta ga rais you don't save anything. Munye Shell na Total. Arthur, you know it's dark already. Fetuli Bulaya. We are 1 hour late. Kaundo is reliable. Kaundo is very reliable, but nywa iliga Alpha dia your engines ezimu biribina. You Alpha, I know a young person at my office that used to drive it. He sold it kati avuga Nadia. Nini Nadia nalabenge yajude mubabuli na mulaba jira ku border. Ni Nadia yinga yakalubye. You guys, when I tell you don't buy a certain car, don't buy it. Ojja kwefuula omuntu omunene utandika ogamba kale ata yangamba. Alpha is comfortable, by the way, but it also drinks fuel. Eringa je batuma okuganywa. But even my Corolla is comfortable. Nja sigala negumya until I make enough money to buy those cars 2 times. Because if I'm going to buy an Alpha like 60 million, I should have more than 120 million on my account. Bwemba sizirina Alpha sijja jigula. I won't buy it. Seek a comfort. We lost a journalist. I don't know what killed him. This guy Kalanzi. You read about it of UBC. And you know he died at a time when he was making money. He joined the presidential press unit in 2018. I think now he was starting to make some money. You know, for the guys that have been part of government agencies, you know how it can be painful and hard for one to join the, let's call it, payroll. And UBC is not special. So he was at UBC so mama with msajja watu ngabera ne suit yemu, and then he got a chance and joined the presidential press unit nga ye reporter wa President Museveni, I think. He was a senior presidential reporter, I think. And then he has been there since 2018, and somehow he died. But I happen to hear stories that emirimu ja government yejo bizibu. People that work in government don't just eat anywhere. If you eat anywhere, you'll die mysteriously. But still, the cause of death has not been published anywhere. So I don't want to believe. Let me just give you my face, because because you will see me again tomorrow in the evening. He was called Guy. God bless him. He died at Mulago Hospital, I think today after. It's a very sad thing, and he was about 36. And being at that age, the presidential press team, he was, the sky would have been just the limit. I'm in my thought, because ejemiaka asato mukago kubanga okola mu presidential press team akasente nako okafuna. Bino president agende bwerwe gwanga, he was the one reporting, so he was starting to get to the peak if he wasn't at the peak. And I really hope that what I hear about government jobs is not what happened to him. I have an acquaintance. He works at Mulago Hospital, and apparently even at Mulago Hospital, tomala galia. They go with their bottles of juice, they go with their bottles of water. They don't eat in the cafeteria at Mulago Hospital. They actually get out of the hospital na agenda nalya kutonninyira tetalya wantu wamu mirundi ebiri. Because poison can come to you anywhere. People want their jobs. I don't know so much about the Fortuna, but like I've told all the guys that used to ask me about the Fortuna, and in case you don't see my face again, it means, well, it's really dark. So like I've talked to all guys that ask me about the Fortuna. Everybody that has a Fortuna that I know has a second car, and the Fortuna is a special events car. And majority of the guys that have Fortuna, probably that's why I haven't even gotten a chance to get someone that offers me an interview. But it's a good car because it's a Toyota. You'll find that it shares spares with the Hilux, and that makes it a very easy car to maintain. It's just that I remember there are guys that used to buy diesel cars in Gabagamba. Diesel cars is saving. At the time, diesel was cheaper than petrol, but right now, diesel is more expensive than petrol. Even at City Oil, diesel is more expensive than petrol. So I doubt people are still saving money by driving the diesel cars. Yeah, so don't get duped, guys. Don't get duped. I think if you haven't seen JK's comments from up above, you should go and read those comments. Oh, wow. This place seems a little near, but it's uncomfortable. So we have to pass here. So you guys are going to see the Rio Semuto Road. Everything else is the same except for the 2015 models and above, I believe. But even the 2000 models, there is a hike of the 2015, right? So they continue sharing everything. So I find that the Fortuna is the luxurious model of the Hilux. People look at you and they think you're driving a very expensive Hilux. Yeah. So someone was saying the Vitz looks ugly. I find that the Vitz looks actually very nice. kino ekimotoka tekibanga kifiiridde wano ekya scrap abadde ali mu kwegendereza. So we have started Semuto Road for the guys that and remember Semuto Road used to take off my internet, by the way. You remember my internet used to go off. Where is the Wi-Fi? My internet used to go off when I was on Semuto Road. I think that's why I bought the MTN thingy. Mulabe kubo lyaffe abataxi bajjudda ne yanange, the rule of law doesn't work. Ebinya bya kitezi byakenera bannange. That place was hell when I went there in January. No, tebinaba. I'm thinking they are going to work on those potholes in during the elections. That's what I'm thinking. Naye ate bino ebyasemuto lwakuba bya semuto kale wamu waba walungi naye ebyekitezi bibi nnyo bannange, ebyekitezi. There's a time my car got stuck nga sinti waseerera nagwa mu kinnya emmotoka neetuula chassis. And I had to get guys to actually just carry, even pushing wasn't working. They carried the car and put it aside. I don't know how I failed to document that day. But that's what happened to me in Chitez. Bibinyo, Alfred gives me a feeling of driving a taxi. Chari wang yagula Alfred, but he ate campus chicks because of the automatic sliding doors. But what I'm saying, thank God I don't have a daughter. Man, chicks can be eaten for the most trivial things. Kati imagine a sliding door and you get press and it will go away route. Baka doping and a regular. Those about 2K can come with a message. Chicks are eaten for sliding doors. Automatic sliding doors. But me, I don't remember what chicks were eaten for at campus. Me, I ate for my words. Me, I didn't eat for sliding doors or anything. Sleep. You are sleeping. Sleep. So the guys that probably have command, they eat for sliding doors, like the JK, the Nokia, comps, Katife. When I went to campus, the broke ones for us, it was the words, the Chigambo chonga chechikwa yimirira. Iranga bubato ina Chigambo. You will have a nyonta. Dozamuna abagayi bange why temwina kumanya muntu wange. Because sometimes njogera ebiyitika bwaba mu motoka nkwata muko. Nejjukira bwataba mu bifuluma biti. Kati mugende mu mulabe nga wali wa mu manya agenda muganda ba broadcast eno wagisuwalengera wano na ulira kyagambye. Mundeke kati wano. The Semuto Road, I have to use AC again because kambalengezeeyo ko mulengere kino ekimotoka kirengera kireeta enfuufu naye ate emabega wali oba mwana wa minisita oba minisita ajja avuganga mulalu emabega wange. I ate for private tuition too and help with coursework. Ate mwabayamba abawala coursework mwali abali bannange ng'omuyita mu room yo kumuyambako ne waaka agenda okumaliriza ng'olidde. Mukama Katonda bebale kumponya kuzaala mwana muwala kuba ebintu ebimu ebituuka ku baana abawala, you imagine them happening to your daughter n'omutima ne gukuluma. Kati tutandise ebinya bya Semuto Road and tubitandikidde gye bitandikire n'ematugga obiraba. Kati wano atatya kwonona motoka yi, atatya kugula shoko yayisa atya. Kanso Yunus, if you're watching kaka na akamoroka ko naffe no bamuvuga. Ate kati gwe wala byomoroka kyennene bannange you guys. Ngojeka abayina ebimoroka ebikadde nnyo n'abavuga government vehicles. Kati ngeyo double cabin eri UAA. Kati oyo talina gwagiguza motoka ye. So he has to stomach the pain of buying the fuel, the expensive diesel right now. But other than that, all the private cars and the Fielder, the one that I've just overtaken is a Sienta. You get eh? So katifene waffe tumanye nnaku yaffe. Now that's a Prado. Then that's a X-Trade. Abadda waka kati eno babadde bazze kola. Abantu ababeera ene waffe kati be baddayo. For us who are going there, we are the ones that live this way. We are the ones who know our naku. God blessed me at campus. Na ina money and I was a kasazo. I would be getting things from all angles. Weyagala, you ate. Newa wonoti ekiwuka. Kuba ekiwuka kibeera ku campus awo bannange abaana ba campus balwadde. Abaana ba campus balwadde. Basically, I don't think actually abaana ba campus. I think the one thing that they used to tell us is what we should always remember. That abakazi balwadde. And probably this is something, hi Michael, something I'm telling my young friends, the men, abakazi watching a man balwadde. I want you as a man to think back of all the times that you have slept with a chick. How many times has a chick told you to bring condoms and refused if you refused to bring the condoms? How many times did a chick insist on a condom? Think about it. And then you realize that actually very few times, if any times that ever happened, that a chick would actually tell you if you don't have a condom, nothing is happening. So now, if that chick wasn't your wife, you were not in a committed relationship with that chick, just imagine if she did that with like 5 to 10 guys. Because especially campus babes, they can do it to 10 guys. So I want you to imagine and think to yourself, if 10 guys came to her and they didn't have condoms, and she did not object at any moment, and one of them had HIV, and then you came after the one that had HIV, you get what I'm saying? So I think the concept, and I think abakazi beba tugamba nga abakazi balwadde, nze bakazi beba ngamba nga sina basajja, abakazi beba nga abakazi balwadde. I think they also know that thing that they do, where they don't insist on you using protection with them. Ekimotoka ekituli maaso wano kitulwisa nono wakaraktisita manyi nakuye ekimotoka kitise scrap. Yeah. So guys, I have to say bye bye because obudde buzibye sisuubira nti mukyalaba n'okulaba okujjako nti you see this S20 camera, it has that night mode. I think it's what it has activated okuba nti musobola n'okubaako kye mulaba. I'm even surprised the camera is seeing something. Obalaba abaana ba boda okula mu kkuba lw'emulago. So guys, I have to say thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. It really means the world to me. I know that you guys have used more than 1.5 GBs now, just like I have, but you have kept on, and of course even your effort n'amaaso no sarawo gafe ng'oli ku simu ndaba banange. And by the way, I would like to warn you, the guys that use laptops, phones, ng'amaaso gakubeera creeping you literally all the time. Kyekyatta amaaso gange bangamba ofosi mu family mwe ekiri naye bangamba that laptops, and I've been a laptop person since like 2009. I think that's one of the reasons why ekkubo oliwulira ddyo motoka yange si yenkadde ekkubo lye ligikaddiya. Yeah, so I have to say bye bye guys to you guys. Ondabira ku TV. Jeka, you should take a picture of that. Take a picture of me on TV. Nange ngambe bandabako ku TV nali celeb. That's so. Let me just go through the names because I'm even getting blinded by these cars that are coming ahead of me. Of course, Sammy, Jackson, Martha, Clip Films, Moses Adams, let me just go through the names now, and then I proceed because I wouldn't be doing you justice, even me. JK, Charles Sebaduka, Ayman Ali, Alan, Uncle Salmina, Nsamba Muzafaru, Brian Media, Nigwe Sirabye, Arafat Kauma, Gonza Anthony, Firstborn, XXXXL Uganda, Gonza. I think Gonza I've talked about you. Edrin, Pasco Joseph, Luzige Michael. Yeah, Anjeke has said that was a time a song Wekume by Bobby Wine. Yeah, Wekume, it has great meaning even as we speak right now. So you guys, amanyanga somi nizo mtadamuga soma, but thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. And as we go into the Saturday evening, don't forget to use protection. Don't forget to use protection. Omurabi alese nange nendeta bakola. So it's dark now. So thank you, JK. It's fun and natural, but I know that's what you sent me. Thank you very much. Guys, I really appreciate you being part of this broadcast this long. It really means a lot. Temwera bidabambi recommend me for business. Let me keep the lights on. Pre-purchase inspection. Ate akasenta ako kansoboze no kola studio ya Fedima tugenda okolanga live podcasts where I'm going to host industry leaders and all that. Anyway, guys, I wish you a very good evening. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala, mwebale muno. I'll see you tomorrow evening at 5:15. Ciao.